Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have my little houseplant mug. Today's video is going to be my May reading wrap up, so let's just get into it so I can tell you all my thoughts on the books that I read in May. The first book that I finished in May is Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder. And this is book 1 in the Fire and Metal series. I am late to the game with this, but I'm glad that I read it when I did because Light Wielder comes out in just a few days as I'm filming this. So I will be able to continue on really quickly. But in this book, you're following Bryn, who is on this kind of like ship society is kind of how it's described. They like live on ships and they're kind of like they're in the Navy basically. But the whole society is like on these ships and they have very small rooms and like ostracized from the rest of the world. They're not on land very often. A mysterious stranger finds her in the market the one time they're able to be on land and puts her hand on the stone and a searing pain shoots through her, and then the guy has like recognition in his eyes and she's not sure what's happening, and she goes back to her little colony, which is kind of a little bit oppressive. She gets in trouble a lot, but her best friend proposes to her and she accepts, but she feels a little bit smothered in the situations that she's in. She thinks it's like good, but she's just not. She's glad that he exists and that she's with him, but everything just seems a little bit smothering, a little bit off, at least as the reader. And then the stranger that like kind of hurt her ends up coming onto the ship and he's imprisoned, and he tells her that basically everything that she's known to be true is not true, and that she can't trust the people that she's with, and that they're manipulating her, and they actually have manipulation magic. And so she decides to leave with him, and they go on this quest to find out what's going on because they think that she has magic, and that's why she had that searing pain when she was on land, when he touched her hand to the stone. And the story kind of goes from there. There's a lot more that happens. There's like a lot of journeying and crazy stuff that pops off at the end. But I ended up liking this. I gave it 4.5 stars. I loved the first part of the book and the like journey and survival aspect that's later on in the book. But then there's this part, I think it's like middle to like third quarter of the book, where things just kind of flopped for me. I felt like things were too fast and too easy. The tension and the drama that they were kind of playing up seemed too easily solvable, or just like silly and not captivating enough to me. But then the story took a turn and I was gobsmacked. But that's like at the very end. So the end was absolutely crazy. So only 4.5 stars because of the like muddled bit in the middle, but really enjoyed the rest of it and will continue. And I can't like spoil a lot of it for you, but the magic system's really cool. It's called Metal Slinger because the guy that for some reason cannot think of his name right now, Acre, he has the ability to sling metal. So he has metal manipulation, so he can control metal in like a room, like if there's like a metal bed frame. He can control daggers, so if people are trying to kill him, he can shoot them back at them. Super cool. And a lot of this is elemental magic, so depending on the person and how your magic manifests, it'll manifest in different ways. Some people are shapeshifters. So I liked that a lot. The magic system was cool. Even though we kind of are just like introduced to it, but we're not really like, we don't know all of the intricacies of it. And then of course the like mental manipulation kind of magic that's hinted at. Really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to continuing the series, but there was like a part, like I said, in the middle where I wasn't really buying this romance and I wasn't buying a lot of things that were happening, but I think the author may have done that intentionally because of the twist at the end. So be warned if you're going to read this that it might feel a little bit weird and then it's going to pop off and then it's going to be crazy. And thankfully for me, I didn't have to wait very long, but I'm so sorry for those of you that read the first book in 2024 with no resolution in sight. So I read that one. And then I read, with my husband on vacation, Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This is book 1 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I feel like that's a tongue twister sometimes. I feel like I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this book. I liked it. I really did. And I listened to the audiobook, which is what I do most of the time, but I would highly recommend if you do read this that you listen to it via audiobook, because when it gives like stats and things, or when he's opening boxes, I think it just makes a lot more sense when you're listening to it than if you were reading it. I think that would kind of annoy me. But both me and my husband really enjoyed it. He likes it a lot more than I do, I think. It's chaotic. Essentially what is going on is this is an apocalyptic world, so you're following characters who aliens have come and seized their planet, and it was like a boom type of a moment where he stepped outside of his apartment building to get his girlfriend's cat that had jumped out the window, and all of the buildings around him flattened. Anyone inside was immediately killed. And then these like cave-like things opened up in the ground, and an announcement was like sent out for the whole world that said if you survive, you can go into the dungeon and become a dungeon crawler. And they've seized everything, like the materials of Earth. And if you win, you can like become the lord of your planet and you can get back some of your materials. Strange, terrifying premise, right? So he and his girlfriend's cat end up going into the dungeon because they don't know what else to do. And they're not even sure they're going to do it, but they just kind of end up there anyway. And so they become players in this game, basically. So it's kind of like an apocalyptic Hunger Games, but it's different. It's kind of like D&D, but he goes into the dungeon, he becomes a crawler. So you go into this system that they've elaborately created over lots and lots of years. And the whole point is that you go from level 1, and I think you're supposed to go to level 13. I can't remember how many levels there are, because you don't get to all of them in the first book, because it's a big series. And with the knowledge that most of you are going to die. And then, like, basically only, I don't know if it's, like, only a handful survive, or, like, one of you survives. Out of millions of people, billions of people. So it's crazy and, like, vicious and insane. You're not necessarily trying to kill each other. That's not the type of Hunger Games it is. Some people do that in this book, but it's more like you're just trying to survive, and you're trying to survive all of these, like, creatures and things that are being thrown at you. But Carl, because he ends up entering the dungeon with his girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, she becomes a player in the game, and she is able to, like, speak to him, and it's hilarious. And honestly, Princess Donut and Carl, like, their companionship and interaction is the reason that I liked the book. The rest of it, like, I like the adventurous aspects, but there's some weird aspects where it's just, like, crass, crude humor that I've never enjoyed, and it's just, like, raunchy and unnecessary, and a very man thing to do, which rubs me the wrong way. Grinds my gears. But that is pretty, unfortunately, it's pretty normal in lit RPG fiction. So, this one I feel like is better than many of the others in that regard. So this one's, like, tolerable. I can, like, get past some of that stuff that's super unnecessary to the story completely, but whatever. So I feel like because it's less than the others that I have observed, I can stomach this one. And when I put those things aside, I really like the story. So it's chaotic, it's awful, as in the situation the characters are in. Crazy, gory, and funny. I liked the premise and how Carl and Princess Donut, the cat, team up. It's a wild story. But like I said, this is the first, like, lit RPG that I've read personally, because they can be misogynistic and gross. And this had moments of being gross for no reason, but that percentage is low enough that it doesn't ruin the story for me, and therefore I will continue. The other parts I really liked and found funny or tough, like interesting, hard, intriguing, difficult, sad, lots of things. It's hard when people are dying just, like, left and right. But overall, following Carl and Donut is interesting and fun. I will continue, but this isn't a series I want to binge necessarily because of the qualms I already mentioned. But I do want to finish this series. I think John's almost done. He's got, like, 2 books left probably at this point. But I do like it, and I can see why it's hyped, even if it wasn't, like, a 5-star for me. I ended up giving this 4 stars. Great rating, just, like, because of the things that I mentioned. And then I read Rules and Rivalry by Christy Boyce. This is book 3 in the Gaming and Romance series. Here it is. So this one is a marching band in D&D contemporary romance, and I liked that aspect a lot. It was really cute. Look at the dog. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This one you're following a girl who, she's a senior, and she wants to do really well in marching band to get, like, I can't remember what the award is. Basically, she wants to get a standout student award, and she is in color guard. And her childhood best friend that moved away and now is back, Max, is also joining the marching band as a percussionist, and their sections are kind of like rivals and hate each other. And he's acting really different towards her. He's acting kind of mean at first, and she's not really sure why, and why he has issues with her when they were so close before. But they also kind of start playing D&D together, and something might blossom from there. Oh, I'm sorry, not 4.5 stars. I gave this 4 stars. This was super cute. I really liked the marching band elements, but I still greatly prefer the second book in this series. But this is still really good, really cute. They're very fun and cute and easy to read, and it's nice to see the different dynamics of all the characters and how everything gets resolved at the end. They're fun and cute though, so I will continue to read these if she comes out with more of them, but this might be the last one. And then I read All Hail Chaos by Sarah Reese Brennan. This is book 2 in the Time of Iron series. I did a whole book review on this, so I'm not going to stay on this very long, but I did give this 4.5 stars. That is book 2. So the first one is Long Live Evil. And you're following a girl who is terminally ill with cancer, and she gets this offer to go into portal into her favorite fantasy book series. But the catch is that you're portaled into the character that you're most like in real life. And if she decides to take this quest and go and find a rare flower that is in this series and bring it back, that she will be healed in the real world. So she takes on this quest, but ends up coming into the body of a villainess, the beauty dipped in blood, the beauty dressed in blood. And she knows that she is destined to die, so she's trying to use her knowledge of the fantasy book world, because this is her favorite fantasy series ever, to stop her fate to twist her fate so that she doesn't end up dying and instead can take control of the story. And there may be ramifications of that. I love this series so far, and I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. I still really liked this, but understandably there's some second book syndrome type things in this. You know, there's like discovering and journeying and development that all has to happen. They can kind of diminish your overall enjoyment, because the first one was just so fun and funny and interesting. This one is a little bit more sinister and dangerous. But I'm really excited to read book 3, which is, I believe, where the series concludes. So, excited for more to come. But, unfortunately, I'm done with the series right now until that one comes out. I don't think she's announced when book 3 is coming out. She has. It's called Kill Your Darlings. Oh my gosh. And it comes out in June next year. I'm so excited. The last book that I read in May was Startup Hell by Caitlin Rozakis. I've really enjoyed Caitlin Rozakis' writing, and I liked this one, but I would say like other ones have been better for me. I gave this one 4 stars. This one was really funny and had a weird crossover between corporate greed and demons. Kind of the loose premise of this is that she works for a startup tech company, and she's miserable. She's in like a marketing position, but she's kind of miserable, but she needs the job. And she walks in one night to find that her boss, and her mother is like a demon slayer, like mystical, really cool person. But she has no magic. She's mundane, basically, which is unusual and shouldn't have happened, so she doesn't know why. And she walks in on her boss, who is dead because he tried to summon a demon and failed. And she sees said demon, and she tries to figure out how to get him back to hell. And in doing so, she ends up there with him, and to get back to the mortal world, they have to agree to bring back one soul each. And so she goes back into the mortal world with this demon, and she feels awful because she's not sure she can sacrifice somebody's soul, except for maybe the CEO of the company, which is the owner's son, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny. And as this author's works usually is, it was funny, because this author tends to write with humorous elements, but also pulling in a lot of real things. But I didn't like it for some reason as much as others from this author. I still enjoyed it, but I thought I would like this one the most, and I didn't, which was kind of odd. I think there's just something about it that didn't work for me, even though like overall I gave it 4 stars, it was good. I liked how it showcased the corporate world, and how the corporate world will do anything to get ahead in that kind of like toxic environment. Some may even sell their souls for it. And the demon that she does interact with, I liked his character because I like the idea that the demon doesn't like what he does and doesn't want to do what he's doing. He wants to stop stealing souls. And also the dynamic between like the cool mom and the daughter who always felt like a disappointment, and how that comes out in the dialogue that happens and the interactions. I thought that was good. So far, I've really liked this author's works, even though this one wasn't like my favorite of all of hers, but I think I'll continue to read the books that she puts out like this because I find them really interesting. Those are all of the books that I read in May. I would love to know what your favorite book of May was. If you want to leave it in comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, but that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.